GM factory ECUs, all live on the chassis dyno. We now are setting dates for GM Gen 3 and 4 two-day classes taught by James Short of Shore Tuning. Our classes are built for budget-conscious racers seeking max performance for minimum spend. Upcoming classes with available seats are as follows. Our GM Factory ECU classes are August 11th and 12th at Endless Performance in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and October 13th and 14th in Dallas, Fort Worth. Both are filling up fast. Sign up now. Stay tuned for more fall and winter dates. Get more info or sign up for updates at RealTuners.com. We do this for a living, and we want you to be able to do it too. Welcome to RealTuners Radio, episode 55. It's the middle of busy season here at RealTuners, so tonight we're going to do a one-hour show covering more questions from you, the listeners. Thanks so much for tuning in. Keeping the candles lit tonight are our hosts, including John Bewley from Little John's Motorsport Solutions, Tom Sewell from Fuel Injector Development, James Short from Shore Tuning, Mark Dahlquist from Throttles Performance, Bill Fowler from Bear Brakes, Scott Evans with Helix Tuning, Mo Lonis from Nano Nitrous, Chad Reynolds from Bangshift.com, Dan Parker, the movie star, and Rye Klemp from Bull City Speed. My name is Scott Clark. Welcome to RealTuners Radio, episode 55. All right, what's going on? It's July 25th. It's another Wednesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Banging out another one, episode 55. It's pretty funny, y'all. Sometimes I want to just open up the mic and let you hear all these other guys giving me shit for my little hobby garden I got going on. But I'll go ahead and unmute them because I know they're talking smack about me right now.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
What's shaking, everybody?
Oh, man, we grew so much herb, man.
It's basil, bitches. Oh, come on. In case you haven't been following along, I didn't want to do an outdoor garden this year. My better half demanded we always do a garden, and I get pissed off because you only get about a third of it because the deer and all the other wildlife get to grub on your garden. So I did an indoor hydroponic garden this year. No, I'm not growing weed, although my UPS guy and a Home Depot guy are pretty sure I am. But anyway, it's going good. We're actually eating from this thing now after it took about 3 weeks to get online and get stuff and produce it. But anyway, yay for me. Totally unrelated to the stuff we like to talk about.
Somebody already commented growing the devil's lettuce.
Right.
Told you.
No, it's red lettuce. It's not the devil's. It's good stuff. So anyway.
Sleep at night, buddy.
Yeah. Whatever. Welcome aboard, Mr. Rye Klemp. Where are you at? You doing some kind of military stuff?
I am. I'm in Quantico, Virginia right now and doing some training up here with some people. And it's kind of cool. We were going to go up to DC. I've never been up there, but everybody has warned me that the traffic is horrendous. So kind of been just enjoying the local cuisine, like trying to find good places to eat and capitalizing on it. Dude, the eastern seaboard is being slammed with rain, so it's kind of sucked. But I've already flat spotted the back tires on my rental, so it's always a win.
You're not a man unless you know where the rev limiter is set before you leave the parking lot, the rental car
Dude,
place.
It's a 2000.
You just ride the rev limiter everywhere you go.
It's a 2018 Focus, and when you put it in neutral, it hangs right at $3,000. It won't go any higher. And it's got drive-by wire, and I've driven, like Corvette and GM applications, but dude, the drive-by-wire in this thing, it's kind of scary. When you let off of it, it kind of pulls for another like second and a half to two. It's a bit sketchy. It's weird. I don't like it at all. But we tried to see if it would go into park going on the freeway. It won't.
It won't, right?
It keeps you from hurting yourself in every way.
Keeps it from hurting itself.
I think I'm gonna go to Home Depot tomorrow and get like some wood to put under the back tires and just do old school tray sliding, relive my high school glory days.
Right. It probably won't let you do that because of stupid traction control or whatever.
It will.
Make sure you take video of how lame that's going to end up turning out.
I will for sure.
That hang-up sounds like my old Cummins.
Dude, yeah. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like a diesel that like nails.
You let off, and it's like, let's just make sure he's letting off while we keep applying torque.
The
You
inertia.
got the tow mirrors out, Ryan?
I do, yeah. But dude, it's got a push button start on it, but the button is like hidden behind the steering wheel. It's in the most stupidest location.
So what he's saying is it spent 30 minutes in the parking lot trying to get the car to start. Wait till he's got to fill it up with gas tomorrow.
Yeah, I absolutely did. I was like, where is the God? Everything's lighting up in here because it recognizes the key. Where is the fucking button?
When guys who drive old cars rent new cars. I swear there's a fucking radio in here somewhere.
It took me 15 minutes to figure out and find all the seat adjustments, and I'm 6'5", so I was like Mario Kart with my head up against the roof. I was like, this is gonna be a long drive to fucking Virginia. But we got to figure it out. And yeah, so I've been suffering in this econo box up in Virginia with crap weather, away from my race cars, away from my family, but excited to get back.
Sorry, I just saw your Facebook message. No, we're not going to put that up on the
sorry.
screen. You make memes in like 8 seconds notice or what, man? That's amazing. How the hell did he make yeah, okay, whatever.
Just put it up there and let it roll through. Just let everybody else see what we're seeing.
Hold on. All right. Just because I can.
John has seen it. Let's see.
Hold on. It's coming. Lord. Right. Now, there's your funny picture. Yeah.
Ice Fury's Joe, the factory two-step trans brake. Dude, I tried neutral bombing this thing and it would not. It saves itself from the driver. Like it's got every prevention effort in there.
Oh, they're becoming idiot proof. Dude, yeah. I'm not going to name names. I don't want to get them in trouble, but there were a couple of calibration engineers from some major OEMs that showed up to one of my classes recently. And the guy said they're working on, I think he said 2022 through 2024 model year cars they're working on right now. And he said they're all equipped for autonomous driving. Like the whole lineup, from entry level to high end.
Yeah.
Are all they're all starting to get where they want to be able to let people let go of the wheel on the highway and drive down.
I think these are more like the Uber Volvo style things in Vegas where they're literally the car will drive itself wherever you give it 2 addresses kind of thing. I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm not getting in one of those here. I don't trust them enough yet.
We rode in one. It was weird. It was like a kind of a little clunky golf cart. So,
well, everybody wish Mr. Bewley a happy belated birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mr. Bewley.
Oh, thanks,
Happy
fellas.
birthday, John.
I saw this hashtag tow mirrors out. Like 18,000 people participated.
Had something positive comes out of our show.
Right. Oh God!
Yeah, it was a pretty good birthday, kind of, but it was also kind of sad at the same time. I went out and got myself some dinner. I'm gonna tell a story on myself just because I think it's funny as hell, even though I'm the butt of the joke. But like, I went out to dinner Monday night, got me something to eat, and was talking to the waitress at the local wings place and told her it was my birthday, and she made me show her my driver's license, and she saw that it was in fact my 39th birthday, and I got a free double of Basil Hayden's on the house out of pity.
Did you get anything else out of pity later?
Right.
No. I just got a drink. That was good enough. I mean, like, she totally felt sorry for me that I was eating alone on my 39th birthday on a Monday night. Gave me a free drink to try and make it back.
What? Alone?
Yeah.
What the hell?
No,
I know, right?
Sometimes a little bit of time to yourself is the best thing you can have.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, cue the sad violin music. Holy shit.
Like I said, man, I totally got a drink out of pity for that, you know.
I'm putting it on my calendar, and I'm going to Kentucky next year for Bewley's birthday. I think we should
Next year, we should all show. Everybody should be in Kentucky next year. It'll be my 40th, and we can just throw a big party, and we can all be hung over together on like Wednesday morning together.
We should make it like a funeral because it's your 40th birthday.
Well,
Oh, stop with that shit already.
Right.
Oh my God, Bill, you're so old.
He is actually.
Bill is salty as fuck over that one.
Yeah. Oh man, so let's keep the happiness going with the Jake Jarvis update. Oh my God. If you've been following this story, I was quiet about it for the last 2 weeks because this one hit a little close to home for me and Rye, but we did a class in January at Tick Performance, and they were literally rolling this car out of the shop that weekend that we did the class there in January. Was that you and Scott came out?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
oh man, so the class got to do a little bit of tuning on this thing, just like the startup, warm up, drivability, did a little bit of demo, how to make something run happy on E100, and neat build, man. Kind of the crowning achievement for the guys at Tick, and it was a stick car. Pretty cool deal. And Jake Jarvis's car, it's a 4th gen F body. You've certainly seen the pictures here. In fact, let me put up the slideshow right there. Well, you're going to be in the middle of finding what's left of it, but I mixed some before and after pictures that a couple of them I took, a couple of them I grabbed off Facebook and Instagram. So this car got stolen on the way to Streetcar Takeover, right?
No, it was at Streetcar Takeover after that night meet, like truck, trailer, and car. All of them together.
Just drove it
Package
off.
Deal.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know they were going to find that shit. And sure enough, a couple weeks later, the truck showed up, trailer showed up, the ATV in the back of the truck showed up. Stuff was kind of beat up, torn up. Truck was messed with inside. It looks like meth heads were picking at it. And then the car wasn't in there, which obviously most of the value of that whole rig is going to be what he's got in the car. And was that a pro-charged combo or what did he have?
No, it was a twin turbo.
Oh, okay.
Twin turbo combo LSX next block. I can't remember the size of the motor.
Big high dollar build though, right?
It made like 1,700 on the dyno to the tire. Like, yeah, even the most generous dyno in the world. Everybody hates dyno numbers.
No. It's all right, man. On this dyno jet at Tick, it made 1,700 at the wheels. Fine. That's who cares if it's even 1,550 or 1,600 on somebody's Mustang. That's still a lot of power.
With a stick like that. It was hard on parts, but it was a combo there. He was just kind of sorting out, and it
drove nice. Drove it around the parking lot. Yeah. And stolen.
Yep.
By some scab whose name they just released today.
Yeah, so I think we should remain neutral for.
Yeah, I will stay out of that trouble just in case.
They didn't take the AFCO shocks out.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Looking at the pictures there.
There's some stuff in there. I feel weird. I'm like, damn, I can't believe they left that. I said the same shit, but I was like, should I feel bad for thinking that? Like, but he got the car back, and then he has a reasonable suspicion of who has the motor, and there may be somewhat of a silver lining. I mean, it's a shit deal no matter what. Your car was taken from you and pretty much destroyed,
trashed.
And even if you get it back in any shape,
some shit.
It's gonna.
That just blows.
Suck. Yeah, but I hope for the best. When we met him, he was a super nice guy. And just regardless of everybody's opinion on like theories, like inside job, someone at Tick did it. Like, I think the people that are saying that because they're not reading and understanding the context of what is being said. Tick did not have anything to do with it. Tick built the car.
Yeah. Tick built the car. Just Jonathan Atkins and crew built the car.
Like, basically, they had to like do their own research to try to find the car. And when he was trying to find the thing, somebody put him in contact. So he basically tried to buy his own motor back. And the guy who allegedly may or may not have this motor sent him a copy and paste list of like from Tick, like copied it off of the
here's what it's got.
Was stolen.
Yeah, literally off the Tick build thread or whatever. Just copied what it had in it. That is what made me think.
How big are your balls?
Maybe it was fake or something. Why would you be that dumb?
Yeah, it's not how big your balls is. How small is your brain?
Yeah, it's crazy. But at the end of all of it, hopefully he gets his car back, man. The guy, it's his pride and joy. He worked really hard for it. Whatever your opinion is on the insurance situation, it's irrelevant at this point. Somebody worked really hard for a whole bunch of shit, and somebody else took it from him. That's it.
Yeah, that sucks.
Let's take a minute to reiterate the need and how good of an idea it is to employ the use of GPS tracking devices on your pride and joys.
Those are tricky because there's GPS and they got to report, and you got to have a cell phone service, don't you? If you want the real time tracking.
Some of them are real time, but even then, that's really cheap. It's less than $5 a month to protect a six-digit figure investment.
I'm an idiot for even thinking otherwise. Yeah, if it's that cheap.
Let's think about that for a minute. $150 a year.
I'd have one on the car, the trailer, and the truck. Yeah,
well, exactly. And
there's a lot of people out there too that push back and say like, well, there's a defeat for this. Look, there's a defeat for everything that you could possibly think of. You know what I mean? You can get all elementary school on this, like, well, if you do this, I'm just going to do this. And then you get up to, well, Ghostman on third times infinity, some stupid childish argument. The bottom line is, if a thief wants your stuff, they're going to get it. But the harder you make it, the harder of a target you are, the less susceptible you are to this kind of stuff. And it just kind of sucks that
in other words, you don't got to outrun the bear. You just got to outrun the other campers.
Right.
Horrible way of looking at it.
I don't know. Yeah. Like, it kind of hates saying that, but yeah, basically, like I don't park my stuff anywhere where I feel like it could. Like when we went to Streetcar Takeover, I didn't have a hitch lock for my trailer, and I was like, shit, dude, I was just apprehensive about it. I literally unloaded my car in the pouring rain, and I parked it in like the VIP spot out in front of our hotel. Like they could have towed my car if they wanted to. I was about to park it like where the valet would have parked your shit, like under the little check-in awning.
Right. If they were going to steal something, it wasn't going to be your car. I'm just saying, that's a target-rich environment, and yours is not the one they're taking.
Yeah.
That is an 8-second streetcar, sir. I'll have you know.
I drive a 1981 Mustang.
But I wasn't worried about it. Like taking, I'm like, no, if the car's sitting on the ground, they're not going to take the car. It's the trailer that's easy to get. Like, I don't know. I'm paranoid about stuff, so I
so
try
if you
to
have
make
a
every effort I
trailer,
can.
there are locks for the trailer you can get that you can put on the wheels that dig into the tires as well, so that if somebody tries to steal it, they're really going to have to drag it to steal it. It's not going to be a simple roll away. I bought one from Jegs. It was $170 or something. Well worth it because you at least have some kind of security there for the trailer, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to unhook the trailer and move it over and pull it off on a different vehicle. They're going to do the easy thing.
Well, 99% of the time they don't. They take truck, trailer, and all.
They just grab the truck and trailer.
Listen, they look for targets. They look for targets because they look for trucks like what he had. The Power Stroke, the Ford that he had, is very easy to get into, and it's very easy to get jump started. It's a known issue with his year truck.
I lived in Southern California for 10 years. I think like second to Honda Civics, or even
is the year Ford
Civics.
Truck that he owned.
Yep, that 6-liter Power Stroke diesel is like the number one most stolen car, and they all end up in TJ.
Yeah, it's very easy to get in the door. It's very easy to get the truck jump started and running. $20, and you can create a circuit to defeat the fuel pump controller on that diesel and about any diesel that's got a high pressure pump like a CP3, and you can prevent the truck from being able to be started for like less than $20.
So it looks like about $15 a month per unit, but yeah, like guys are we're getting some good stuff on the Facebook chat there. Guys are telling us that they don't work good inside of buildings, so you got to be careful with that.
Anything's better than nothing.
No, I hear you. But I'm looking at this Samsara stuff online, samsara.com, and that's some pretty interesting technology there, though. Watch it real time on Google Maps driving away.
Yeah, but it alerts you. You can set an alert.
Yeah. Movement alarms. Yeah.
Yeah, you can set a movement alarm on that. So if it starts moving, it can get your attention and you can go after it while it's moving. Right. And you'll at least be able to track it before they can get it into a building and get the GPS, hidden or defeated and not able to be, make it to where it can't transmit.
Yeah, they got to find all that stuff, and the kind of crackhead scumbags that do this, may they rot in hell and have their nads eaten by bats.
Amen.
They can't necessarily find all the things. And there's nothing wrong with a motion detector that sends you an alert and also triggers God's own siren,
Right.
underneath it. And, then they're just going to run away at that point because of all the noise. So there's some things you can do that are kind of old fashioned, but they still work.
Sure.
Yep.
Get their attention.
Like buy a Mustang.
I mean,
Nobody's stealing S95s.
It's like camouflage.
So
Blends in with everything around it.
I mean, those kind of events are just target the stuff. Texas 2K is in the exact same situation. There's so many out of town people, so many trucks with trailers. They're everywhere.
Who was the guy a couple years ago? The guy his drag week car stolen the day after drag week.
I don't know who was that.
I don't remember.
I remember the story too, but I don't remember the car. Sadly.
I mean, I've seen it all the time, living in Bowling Green, with the Buick Grand Nationals coming to town and all the events that come to Beach Bend. Every time there was a big race in town, somebody got their stuff jacked from a hotel and, got took off of it.
Yeah. God, that sucks.
And
Man, I feel
nobody
bad for
knows
Jake.
anybody there. It's not like going to the track where half the racers.
Oh, there's a lot of confusion. Yeah, because people coming in from so far out. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's people coming and going 24/7. It's not like, okay, it's 3:30. There's nobody out. There's still people going in and out of the hotel.
That just means that maybe on an event like that, maybe you pay a few extra dollars and hire somebody to sit there and watch your stuff. If you really worry about it, hire personal security just to watch it.
Or don't stop anywhere very long with your setup. Yeah, these guys are talking. There's some good ideas here. Nick Deal's on the case, man. Hold on.
It's drag week protocol to pull up under the awning of the hotel.
Let me transition here to Nick Deal just sent me some stuff here. He's like, here's the best deal right here, what you want. So hold on, laptop.
It's my buddy Austin that's talking about not stopping. What up, Austin?
Bring the one guy who wants to be friends with the group and haze him in by making him watch it all night long.
Yeah, come here, prospect.
It's where you're sleeping tonight, big boy.
Nick Deal, tell me more, man. He sent me these pictures. Asking him what he recommends.
If
anybody knows that stuff, it's Nick. Yep.
It's Nick. Yeah. You guys hit him up. He's the one that can set you up with the system.
Yeah, alarms, car audio stuff. He's really cool too. They build a lot of cars and do a lot of fun shit.
Kevin Schweitzer said it was Jason Tabscott's car.
Yeah, that white car. Dude, that was in broad daylight. He was like eating in an Applebee's. So
I had a 98 Dodge Ram 3/4 ton short box extended cab 4x4. It was a Cummins diesel with a NV 4500. Got stolen right out from under me at my work where I worked. But we went and retrieved it about 4 hours later, and it wasn't too messed up.
Hell, did everybody just go and buy a manual trans truck half the time anymore? People don't know how to drive them. Hey.
Or you put, I enjoy Limeritos on the back window.
Ooh, I got to go up and get me one of those too or something.
Oh, speak of the devil.
I got dry mouth.
Oh, really? It's all that your
from
garden.
the dill and the mashed potatoes.
Weird.
We need to get the church lady.
All that lettuce from his hydroponic slab.
Right.
Yeah. Keegan Smallwood asked any word from the other guys about drag week. No, it's been all crickets from the other camp.
No one's taking us up on it. Actually, I heard I tuned into Power. Whatever. I turned into their podcast tonight.
Flower and seed, baby.
Yeah, no, I like those guys, dude. I like half of those guys I really like, but or 2/3 of them. Anyway,
there's
three of them. So,
there's a half of one guy he likes but don't care for the other.
No. But I was listening tonight, and it was basically a soliloquy about my car, just kind of like getting the crowd ready for a second year of not making it ready for drag week, and that sucks. It's in chassis jail. I feel for him. But
I hope they do. It'll be fun. It's all in fun. Like
I love those guys. It is all in
a little
fun.
bit. Like,
Yeah,
I listened to that podcast. That was the podcast that got me into podcasts.
They got Shane T, and they got Greg Banish on there. Super Tuners telling them, Banish, tell them everything, man. Dude, they need to have Greg tune that car or do it his way, and let's put it up against Rye's old homebrew Mega Squirt. and let's see what happens.
I mean, I know we got a lot of listeners that listen to both of them, so I don't want anybody running over there saying that we're bashing on them and we hate those dudes. Like, it's all in fun. I don't want to have somebody coming up to me like, "Yo, I heard you talking shit," and trying to like get in my face or anything.
I'm pretty sure that's already happened. They've already
it has
shit on their Facebook page.
It did. I went over there and kind of stirred the pot a little bit myself, but try to get a little bit of a rise. But my understanding is that those guys aren't exactly. I know Tad gets on social media a little bit, but the others, they don't really pay too much attention to it. So hopefully they see it. If they do, like, hey, let's make it interesting. Let's have a gentleman's race and let's wager a little bit of money on it and have some fun. Like, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be in the same class. Like, let's just address the elephant in the room. I'm obviously faster than you are, so come at me.
Come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro.
And John and I got $200 right there saying, "Hey, come on, guys."
Yeah, I'll back it
right.
up. I'll throw in 200 of my own. So the pot's up to 400. We'll call it a $400 bet so far.
I'll put another 100 on. Let's make it an even 5.
There you go.
I'll throw in a half pound of lettuce.
That's worse.
That's all I got. I'm broke as a joke this time of year. Yes,
Well, I
Chris
mean,
Smith. Chris Smith wants to ask questions. Chris, man, we can answer your questions. You're smarter than all of us.
That's got a street value of what now?
About $4. I don't know.
What's
it's a little bit better than the stuff you can get at the grocery store, the Whole Foods, or the organic place. It's about as good as the farmer's market stuff if you catch them quick. But.
Probably get a lot more out of it in California. All the hippies out there.
Right.
Or Colorado.
Hey, what's going on
Legal
with the
there.
live feed, Scott? Because it's like this Inception like screenshot of your Facebook inside of my Facebook, so it looks like I'm watching Inception.
Oh, gotcha. All right, hold on. Let me transition back out of that.
We've got an infinity loop going here.
Yeah,
It's,
Watching the
yeah.
live feed
It's
of the
fixed.
live feed screen of the live feed screen.
you're gonna divide by 0, and then everything's gonna stop.
oh, man. There's a wormhole in southwestern Iowa now. All right,
Is
should be fixed.
Damn, Scott Sublett just said he'd put $500 on it.
Scott
Ooh.
Selvit's my boy, dude. That's
Scott's the man, yeah.
that's my sensei, my mentor. That's my fucking best friend, dude. That guy is ride or die.
Scott's cool. He came to the class with you. I like Scott.
I
That's
love that guy to death. I
That's
will
an
kill for that
even
man.
grand. That's an even grand right there,
There we go.
And a pound of lettuce.
and a free hat and a T-shirt from Danny Davis and the guys at Worldwide LS
Oh,
Owners.
yeah.
Oh,
Are they
that's
listening in?
like the cherry on top right there.
He's all over it. Cool. I had a good time at LSX versus the world, too, man, even though the world kicked ass. It was good times. Man, if we'd have gotten Derek's combo lined out a little bit quicker, if I'd have had maybe 2 more passes with data before that.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have had that before first round of the big race instead of
Right.
getting it all figured out during the second chance race.
Yeah, that's all right. He's got her figured out now. He knows what he's got to do. That's
Yeah,
good
for
shit.
everybody that's on the Facebook, Scott Sublett is actually going to be my co-pilot on Drag Week. So that's why he's footing the bill on that. But
So just go out and remind the guys that somebody take a clip of the audio here. What are we at? We're at 8:30. We're going to do an hour show tonight, so we're halfway through. But make sure
I
that
like
the
when
guys...
the fans bring it. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
waiting for them to do another podcast because I was going to call in.
Hey, I got to tell you something. Here's another news story. God, I'm trying to keep it positive. But so if you followed... there were some storms that blew through here. Well, shit, the northern tip of those storms were around the Des Moines, Iowa area. Southern tip were down in Branson, Missouri, which is crazy because if you read or heard about that duck boat Ride the Ducks incident or whatever, that's where my family, we kept our boat, and I had my first house I owned was a little cottage on the lake, like overlooking that area where that thing sank. But anyway, the northern end of those storms passed through south and east of Des Moines a little bit and went through Pella, Iowa, and basically leveled a part of the Vermeer factory. 2 of our students are Duke Reynolds and Brad Rorta. You got to check out Duke Reynolds' car, but they work for Vermeer. One of them's a Vermeer dealer, and the other one is an engineer at Vermeer. But super crappy weather going on this last couple of weeks. Those tornadoes whipped through there. Anyway, where this goes is Power and Speed guy Mike actually called me after he read the news, like that night, like the next morning, I think it was, he called me. It's like, man, I want to make sure you're okay because they said that stuff was out, not too far from where you live. And he's right. It's like 90 miles from me. But I thought that was pretty cool. So those, at least, a couple of those guys are pretty cool.
Yeah, no matter how much beef you got with somebody, like
that was pretty cool.
The racing community is tight.
I thought that was classy.
No matter what.
Yeah. And those guys gave me the microphone I'm talking through right now, right? Wouldn't take no money for it. Gave me like a $500 SM7. And he's like, no, dude, it didn't work for my voice, but here, have it. Use it for your podcast. I'm like, are you kidding me? Cool guy. They're doing a show tomorrow, right? We should just call in. They have an open number. I'd call in with you.
Yeah.
Let's
That's what I'm saying. I'm really debating on doing it.
Okay. No, I'll do that with you. I know the number. We can get you on there. It's pretty funny because they leave it open. And it's so funny. Nobody really calls in. And they're like, dude, here's our number. It's live. Call the number. But
it's easy to troll. Yeah. I'm totally down. Are we going to hear from the Biggin and
we're supposed to
those guys? Maybe.
Chad join in. Let me go message Chad real quick and say, hey, MF. Hold on.
I'll send a message to Biggin.
I got Eric and Chad on one right here.
So if you guys, I can talk to an update because I was there as recently as
Bill
yesterday.
is sponsoring with Bear, so go ahead, dude. Have at it.
So first of all, I have to tell you. Go ahead, Ray.
If anybody, before we get into it, I don't know if you're going to talk about it, Bill. I don't want to step on your toes, but for those of you who don't know, Horsepower Wars, if you haven't been following on social media, is undergoing filming right now, and our own Mr. Bill Fowler.
It's the 10K drag shootout is what it's called, right?
Yeah. Yep. Has been sponsoring that. So that's we're trying to get in touch with Eric Yost and Chad Reynolds of Team Biggin, who appear to be doing rather well. And Mr. Fowler has a inside perspective on that. Take it away, Bill.
Well, thank you, Rye. I have to say, sitting back a little bit, yesterday in Murrieta, California, which is basically driving between Riverside and San Diego, which may or may not help any of you directionally. The bottom line was it was 109. It was 109 there again today. I'm standing in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's 115, but it's a dry heat. So anyway, these guys are working in what is pretty much, a big bunch of bays in a somewhat uncooled building, killing themselves to build competent race cars in 10 days worth of work with a $10,000 budget that divides up as $3,000 cash and $7,000 in summit money, along with some products that have been sponsored by a variety of companies. So the roll cage kits, a lot of the safety gear was provided. As everybody I think knows, we provided front drag race brake kits. And a number, Mickey Thompson has provided rubber 275 Pros on the rear and skinnies up front. So there's a number of manufacturers that provide some parts. So the real budget is, a little bit more than 10K. But these were cars that you could genuinely go on out and buy for $500. We're not talking nice exemplary automobiles. An 84 four-eyed Fox, an 86 Fox, a third-gen Camaro that looked like it had been used as a cat lady sleeping quarters, and a G-body Regal that also looked like it had been used for plowing fields when it wasn't otherwise being dragged through the mud. So not the nicest of cars. They had to endure a very difficult set of physical tasks to decide who would get to pick in what order. Our pals with Biggin got one of their choices, the Dream Team led by Big Daddy Dwayne Guttridge. I don't know if any of you people have ever met him, but I think the guy can lift a house all by himself.
He's a legend.
Oh my God! He's
also on tonight. 9.
Oh, there he is.
It's Mr. Reynolds. So, and then the Stinky Pinky team, which has also been on the podcast, and the guys with Team Bodie from up in Northern California, although Bodie himself has not been seen yet because of other commitments. And they are all flogging themselves to death working on the cars, with the exception of the guys who are coaches. And I'm holding up little air quotes now. We're honored to have Chad Reynolds on, who is one of those coaches. I have pictures of him of the clean shirt. than everybody else. But if you can imagine trying to start from scratch, they had these cars torn apart in mere hours on the first day, and we're already starting to mock up roll cages and do all kind of stuff. And you can tell the relative level of planning from team to team by how quickly and directly they were able to get into this. So we're going to have 2 LS turbo Fox body combinations. We're going to have a 3rd-gen Camaro with the big block Chevy with the 871 carburetors on top. And we're going to have a Regal that's going to have a big block Chevy with a whole lot of nitrous. And the basic motors came out of the junkyard. And Chad, you may be able to fill in some other things. I am embargoed on going into much more detail at this moment, but you might be able to share a little more. I don't know what documents you signed.
Yeah, we signed a lot of stuff, so we got to be careful on what we say. But like you said, Bill, there is a very different, I guess, feeling from team to team. Like, and a very different method, and it's really interesting to see. I don't say that like it's bad that one team is doing something different than the others. It's just very different to see the direction that everybody's going. And it's certainly fun. It's cool being the coach on the one hand. Teams like ours that have 6 people, which is actually 3 of the 4 teams. Stinky Pinky is the only team with just 5. But we are, the 6th man is allowed to work on the car certain times. The key is that only 5 people can work on it at any one time. So it's good. I've been able to work on it, some, especially while Jason Smith was just killing himself on all the budget stuff and ordering parts for 2 days. So it's been crazy. But I will tell you, I expected this to not be as cool as it is. I really just didn't expect it to be as good, and it's awesome. Are there things I would do different? Yeah, but I'm sure they would do some things different too. And it's been fun. We're having a good time. Team Biggin is... I'll just put it this way. We're doing everything any of you people out there would expect us to be doing.
Can you fill us in on the tools and UPS?
Yeah, we're so we are allowed to use any tools that we want. They supply us with a full, gamut of tools. And then we're allowed to bring anything specialty that we want to bring or what have you. And so, Biggin and the boys brought certain stuff, we've been planning this for months. Publicly, nobody knew that I was in on this thing, but we did that as sort of a surprise for the people here at Power Auto Media. But we really have been planning. So I have a lot of tools, obviously, and I live an hour from here. So, having tools that close is really nice. So almost every day, I've been bringing more tools down here. In fact, I have no idea how it is I'm going to possibly get all my shit home from this. But we're using a lot of the stuff you would expect. And then also we're doing stuff with way less. I mean, we haven't used a chop saw once. Everything's an abrasive cutoff wheel and a die grinder or a 4.5-inch angle grinder. When
so do you have to pay, like, if you don't have the tool and you have to buy the tool, does it come out of their budget or?
Well, they had a big post. They had a big post that UPS sent their tools to the wrong place or something.
It wasn't tools, actually. It was parts. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. There were some tools in it too. But yeah, UPS sent. They just didn't send it. We had a confirmation on a day that the stuff was supposed to be here and all that, and then the day that it was supposed to be here, all of a sudden there's an update on UPS, and it literally had never left North Carolina. So we caused a stink on Facebook, and somebody posted it on Twitter, and UPS saw it, and then a racer whose dad is a bigwig at UPS, bitched to her dad or whatever. And anyway, through it all, a bigwig at UPS contacted us and said, "Hey, you know what? Our bad. We're sorry. We're going to make this right." So we have grabbed your package and put this crazy, it's really important label on it, and you'll have it tomorrow. And so don't worry, it's on its way. And they did, and they made it right, and we appreciate it. Do what?
I said they call it next flight guaranteed. We use it all the time.
There you go. Yeah, and it was crazy because it was like we went from there's no chance of it getting there to, oh yeah, it's on its way, like it'll be there very shortly in a matter of minutes. It was pretty cool. So, but then we also have the Power Auto Media has a bunch of tools where they don't have enough of them for each of us to have one, so they are available for rent. So we each get these 3 cards that, like ours says Biggin on it, and they're laminated, and you hand them. They look like a bookmark from when you were in 3rd grade. You hand them to one of the staff members and say, "Hey, I want to borrow a Sawzall," and they go, "Okay, here's your Sawzall. You get it for 2 hours," and they write on the back of your ticket what you got and when you got it, and then it goes in the drawer where the part was, or tool was. So you can rent up to 3 tools at a time. And honestly, people have been pretty good about that. I mean, we haven't had much trouble. Now, some of the teams brought their own tools. Like the Dream Team brought tubing benders and notchers and all kinds of crap. Or actually, they brought notchers and chop saws and stuff. Team Bodie brought a bender. We used the bender that Power Auto Media has one. I have my own bender and stuff at home, so I could have brought that too if we needed. But overall, we've been able to use everything, that was here without much difficulty. We installed the roll cage pretty close to the way the kit came from Rhodes Fabrication, and I have to admit it's a pretty nice kit for a kit roll cage. But then, I don't know if you guys saw the pictures, but there's a lot of the front end missing in our car. And we replaced it with a lot of tubing. Yeah, and so that required a couple of bends, and we did that. That was no big deal. So we pretty early on went to a place that nobody else was going to, and I think everybody went, "Oh, holy crap!" I know that the production team did. The production team was like, "Wait, what?" And I'm like, "Dude, if you don't start shooting this, you're missing all of it because we're cutting the front end off the car like right now." So. It was. It's been kind of cool because I don't think they were expecting some of the stuff that we were going to do. So our car is not going to look like a car that just got shoved together and to try and make it fast. Our car is going to look like a dirty, but still a race car. I mean, slow race car.
You're not building a pink slap together car.
No, we are building a race car. We are just doing it under an abbreviated schedule, which means that because of the materials we have in the abbreviated schedule, it's mostly MIG welded versus TIG welded, like a normal big car would be. It means that there are some things that we would do to this car if we were building this car, over months rather than, days. But we're not, with rare exception, we're not skimping on the fabrication. I mean, there's some things you can't do. I'll give you an example. So if you're building a Fox body car, at the very least, you got to weld in all the torque box structure and all that junk, right, to stiffen it up. Right. Or you buy the aftermarket stuff, right? And so you tear out all the factory stuff and you put much heavier duty stuff in. Well, because of budget constraints, we can't afford to put the big heavy duty stuff in. So we reinforced and welded in, the factory stuff and changed the pickup points and all that,
I saw the picture of the lower control arm pickup point on the axle of that, and I was impressed.
Yeah.
It's drastically altered.
Way by several inches. And we did things like, so there's a metal yard here in town, and it's perfectly wonderful if you're building wrought iron fences, but it's not right if you're building race cars.
Does that go against your budget? Any material, anything like that?
It
all
does.
Goes out of all comes out of your $3,000.
Correct. That comes out of our cash budget. So that's where you got to be smart. See, so I fabricate stuff a lot, right? And I use a very nice metal yard in Ontario called Patton Sales Corp or Patton Steel. So Patton.
Are you still going to that place? Dude, you've been going there for since 2006. We discovered that place together. Anyway, carry on. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear they're still there. I remember that. Yep.
It's spectacular.
Dean Westmoreland took us over there. He's like, "Oh, you got to come to this place." Yeah. Right.
It's rad. And yeah, Scott and I spent a lot of time there. But the other thing you got to learn, so here's one of the things I'll give you as a tidbit of how you be smart. So we needed 1/4-inch plate to make some of the things like the lower control arm pickup points. So because we needed that material, and I knew that the maximum width that we were going to need for what we were building was 4 inches, I went to Patent Steel and got 4 to 5 inch strips of 1/4 inch plate that had been cut off and were remnants from something else. If it's wider than 5 inches, you actually pay for the price of plate that is that wide by whatever length it is. If it is less than 5 inches, you pay scrap value, which is 50 cents a pound.
That's exactly how I used to shop for my shit too.
Yeah, that's
Jeez.
where you save money. So,
Yeah.
and it is. So the way that this works from a rules perspective on the money, we get the guys at Summit Racing Equipment stepped up, and it was awesome, right? So they gave us $7,000 worth of gift cards. Okay, I mean that's how it works. So we each get $7,000 worth of gift cards. We each get $3,000 worth of cash. Now, the car that we start with, we have to pay for. All of the cars cost $500 each. Okay, and there are some people that are going to go, oh, dude, I totally could have bought a Fox body for less money than that, right? And you could have. I could have bought for between $200 and $300. I could have bought a Fox body like the Dream Team's car. I couldn't have bought a 4i like ours, but I could have bought a car like the Dream Team's car for $200 to $300. But the truth is, the perfect car for us would have been one with no suspension under it or any of those things, which again, $200 to $300. But then you got to get it here. You got to go through all that bullshit. This way, they had it sitting here. It was pretty easy, right? You know, cool, $500, roll that bastard into the garage.
Truth, common sense.
And,
yep.
You know, and so that's where we're at. So that's why they stipulated you're not going hunting for the cars, even though that would be really cool content and it would be a fun adventure. It takes a lot of time. And you have to remember that everybody that's here, every team that is here on their own dime. We pay for our own hotel, our own food, except for lunch here, and we pay for all of our own travel expenses. So like Team Biggin couldn't do it without Line to Line, TBM, and Motion Raceworks. Like those guys paid for the hotel and the airfare and everything for the rest of the guys to come all the way from North Carolina. So that was like seriously badass.
That is pretty awesome.
Because it's expensive. Yeah, I mean, it's real money. So the car comes out of your budget. Yeah.
Hey, when you're done, remind me to give a plug for Line to Line. I've got a bunch of personal experience with them, and if they're sponsoring Team Biggin, yep, when you're done, I'll talk about it a little bit.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So your cash money, you know, pays for the car, and it pays for anything that you cannot get from Summit. Okay. So if you decide that you're going to buy used parts, right, you're going to go to the wrecking yard, you're going to do any of those things, that comes out of your cash budget. If you are going to buy a new set of comp push rods, you know, you probably shouldn't use your cash for that. You should probably spend your $7,000 for your Summit money. There's a lot of strategy on what you do and don't buy each way, all of those things. And as you get toward the end, I mean, here we are on Wednesday. We have 3 more days to go. It's now it's crunch time, right? Everybody's down to, you know, 2 and 3 digit balances on cash and, you know, credit with Summit. So it gets really interesting. Now we are allowed to return anything we buy from Summit as long as it is uninstalled, okay, so that they could resell it. So we have a few items that we bought new, but we have sitting, and we know where we can get them used. And that way, if we decide we have to have something else from Summit, and it's better to return that and buy something new from Summit, and if we have enough of our cash, then we could go buy it, you know, on the street.
I got some used fuel injectors laying around. I'd be glad to sell you reasonably priced.
I like that. I like that a lot. Although I will tell you, we're good on injectors, I think, right now.
Okay.
So, but there's also a bullshit factor. So here's the cool part. This is good because otherwise guys like me would own this deal, like way own this deal. So if you sold me a set of 120-pound injectors for $5, then they're going to be like, dude, you can't buy 120-pound injectors for $5. The going rate on eBay or, you know, Craigslist or whatever is X number of dollars. That's what you may not have paid that, but we're going to take that out of your budget. I mean, that's how it works. And so, for example, one of the teams had a shifter that was a used shifter, and they bought it for $40, but the team here went, $40 is a little cheap. We'll go 50. And there were a couple of things where we had to convince people. I had bought some stuff from a friend of ours. I won't name him, but Scott knows him, and he had a nitrous solenoid and some line and a nozzle, and we needed it. And this stuff had literally been sitting on a car in a driveway for 10 years, 12 years, something like that. So we picked it up, and one of the judges and parts guys is like, "Bullshit, dude, that's brand. I just bought one 2 weeks ago. It looks exactly the same." I'm like, "Okay, I'll bet you $100 cash that this thing is at least this old." And he goes, "There's no way." And so he bets me, and I didn't take his money because the solenoid and the line and the nozzle and everything, Scott Clark was with me when we put it on, because we put it on Rusty in 07 on Dragweed.
I was like, I wonder who he's talking about. All right. That stuff is still around.
I sold it to another friend of ours who used it, and then it's been sitting all this time. And then I called him and went, "Are you using the nitrous that's on your car?" And he goes, "No." I said, "Good. We're going to pay you money for it. Give me that shit." So, yeah, it's that kind of thing. And so, like Crosby, you guys all know Crosby, right? My buddy Crosby from Power Shift. So he, he fabricates stuff all day, every day. So when we needed stuff for the hot side of our turbo kit, I went over there and said, "Okay, what do you have?" And literally we bought scrap pieces that he had cut up doing exhaust, and got a bunch of, so there's a 2-foot long straight piece of tubing in our hot side of our turbo kit that has 4 joints in it because it's what we've got.
I've used fence posts before.
Oh, I don't doubt it, and I like it. I'm all in. That doesn't make me feel bad at all.
Are there guys that are playing it's obviously, it sounds like everybody's kind of on a bro code and helping each other out a little bit, but is anybody playing games, going and checking out tools to stop another team from getting something done? Or
this is why the other guys are glad Ryan's on the team. Fucking deviant.
Well, no, because we're there with you. So here's the deal. There are competitions that we are also doing that are not revolving around the build. And there are prizes associated with those competitions and potentially weight breaks and such, okay, for the cars. So all that's great, but we can sell parts. So if we won, for example, we'll use Bill as the example. If we won a set of bear brakes, which, by the way, Bear provided every team with a set of front brakes so that we all can stop these pieces of shit and not kill each other. Okay. So that was a safety item. So we got that. But let's say that one of the competitions was to win rear brakes, right? Well, we don't have to use them if we win them. We can either sell them to another team, and whatever we sell them for, we can use toward our cash budget. Or if we just want to be dicks and not allow anybody else to have them, we can just keep them. And we don't have to put them on. We don't have to do anything. We're trying to win.
That makes sense.
Did to win one of the parts one day, and we really, really tried to win it, even though we didn't need it, just so they wouldn't have it.
Nobody
and
else
would
could
have
have
to
it.
spend money on it.
Can you trade those?
You know what I mean?
Can you trade those?
We cannot trade them, but we can sell them to other competitors and use the money.
Hang on, I have a dumb question.
Trade them in on other parts.
Question:
Yeah.
Is there any live feed of any of this going on besides what I see you guys doing? I mean, I saw you, Chad, had stuff.
No.
Nothing. Okay.
No.
Is it all
We
being
are not
videotaped
allowed to
though?
And tonight is the end of the car. You guys cannot see any pictures of the car anymore after tonight. So an embargo starts tonight where we aren't allowed to show any more of the car because, we want everybody to see it when it's all finished and want to tune in. I will tell you that it's only going to be 3 or 4 weeks or something like that before the
horse shit.
Hit. And you get 2 a week leading up to the race. And the way that the race is going to work, it'll be at Norwalk during shakedown, okay? we are going to get 5 qualifying passes, okay? And then based on our best qualifying time, they will set up a ladder of 4 cars and we will race for it. So it isn't necessarily that the fastest guy is going to win, okay? Now, I will tell you with absolute certainty that there isn't a single fiber of our being on this team that expects to do anything but win and that expects to do it with anything less than an 850. We're going all in and we're going to run a real number. And if we can win this thing,
you heard it here, folks.
Deep in oh yeah. If we win this thing and run in the 8 and everything is happy, we will continue making hits there at Norwalk to see if we can make this thing run a 7. Did here.
Or kill it trying.
That's where we're at.
Outstanding.
Hey, Scott.
Absolutely.
Yes.
How'd you like to drive out to Norwalk again?
Yeah, we could do that trip again, right? That was a road trip.
Yeah. Oh no, I'll be there. And this just in, I will also be part of Team Biggin and Team Tooth Jerker for Ducks race at the end of September as well. So I will be in South Georgia, ladies and gentlemen.
When are you
Lock
guys
your door,
at Norwalk?
hide your children.
They're going to kick you out, Chad.
It will be the middle of September. It is the weekend that is the end of drag week, like September 15th or something like that. The shakedown at the summit. It's that race.
Which kind of sucks because that took a number of people out of being able to do drag week.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The Biggin, of course, was going to do drag week this year, especially with it in his backyard.
It's in his backyard. I know. He'll be able to stay at his house for like 2 nights, won't he?
I talked to him at Streetcar Takeover about it. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be out, but I'm going to have some people by because it literally starts right after drag week. So like, yeah, I'll have some people over. We'll do some barbecue and stuff.
Come on, California Magazine guys, get your shit together.
Yeah. He's going to do a Customs by Biggin open house 1 or 2 of the nights of drag week. Have food and everything. So if people want to come by and hang out, so it'll be good. I have to say, like, we have great sponsors that have helped us out on this thing, and they've been super fun. Not only did they pay for the guys, but Doug Cook and the guys at Motion Raceworks, they're hilarious because they just keep sending us care packages, which is good because our shit looks like hell after 2 days. So I don't even know how much money were the hats they've sent us. But tomorrow they have some special. They didn't even want me to tell the guys, but so Doug hit me up and said, dude, I'm going to send a special care package and you really need to get the care protection when you open this on camera. So I don't know what it is, but I'm excited. So I got to set that up, which would be fun. We've gotten great care packages, but I cannot say enough about Jason Smith and Chris Bailey and Lyle Barnett, obviously, Peter Harrell. Pete is awesome. And Eric Yost, our team, our team is fucking awesome. These guys are, I've been friends with Biggin for a long time. Lyle, I feel like I've known Lyle my entire life. That dude is awesome. Together can suck the air out of a room right now. Dude, Jason is hilarious. We've given him 2 nicknames. He is Jason, the accountant Smith. He is also Jason, the dumpster diver Smith, which is a whole nother thing. You guys will see in one of the episodes. Peter from Harrell Engine and Dyno, right there in Mooresville. He's right next door to Biggin. He is awesome. We had some fun. One of the rules deals is that if you want to use a machine shop to do machine work on your block, that's totally fine. You just have to pay whatever it is that's the normal rate, for a bore and hone or whatever you're getting done. We chose a slightly different path on the engine that we got. It was a part, but it had a little bit of work done to it and had a couple of parts thrown in the box that were kind of upgrades, factory stuff, but still a little better than some of the stuff that it originally came with. And one of the other things was if you could convince a machine shop to rent you their machines because you could prove to them that you were qualified to use them, then they set an hourly rate that you had to pay to rent the machines. And I'm not going to tell you my machine shop because he'd kill me if anybody showed up trying to rent from him, but we were able to do that. So that saved us a lot of money, actually. A lot of money. It was probably in the neighborhood of $200, $250 of savings. And when you're talking about this kind of budget, that's real money, So, so it's pretty cool. We have really talented, great people, and we are laughing the whole time. We've drank ungodly amounts of beer. We have very, very, very cold beer on hand at all times.
It's a solid
patting
approach.
myself on the back for that one. Oh yeah. No, the other night we were really tired and it was only 6 o'clock. We're supposed to go till 8, and we just quit and slept and then sat around and drank. And that's either going to prove to be a really cocky but awesome move, or it's going to suck. But either way, we had a great time. It doesn't matter. But Bill can attest that we pretty much, start the festivities every night. That's for sure. So it's a good time. And I took the North Carolina boys to the beach over the weekend, and we ran all over because the weekend was off. We weren't allowed to work on anything. So we ran all over Southern California, had a good time. So it was cool.
Groovy. That's outstanding. Hey.
Any other questions about the particulars? I can talk about any rule stuff. I just can't talk about
results
anything more
stuff
specific on our modifications or work than we've already done. Without James Lawrence getting mad at me.
Watching the messages go by. Oh man, we need to wrap it up. It's been an hour. We're gonna do an hour show tonight. So those of us that have other work to do yet, I got a different time zone remote I got to do here in about 45 minutes. But
nice.
So yeah,
I am actually not going to be here Friday, except in the morning. I'm leaving my boys because I am going to officiate at my buddy Ricky Best's wedding on Friday evening up in the San Fernando Valley. For those of you that don't know, Scott Clark, your lovely host here, we conned him into getting ordained to marry Daphne and I.
I've done this. Yep.
And it was, he went, "You want me to what?"
Yeah.
And we told him
dude, I had to think about that for a while. He had Daphne call me and she's like, we want you to marry us. I'm like, why didn't Chad's bitch ass call me himself? Says, you put me on the spot.
I was afraid you were like, what?
Yeah. I'm like,
that's exactly
all right. I'll do it. And then I was all nervous. I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm like, oh, Chad did it already, so I'll do it. It was cool. That was the coolest thing. One of the coolest things I've done. Thanks, man. So you're doing that for Ricky?
Meant the world to us.
Oh, I'm going to give Ricky some shit. That's awesome.
Getting married on Friday. Him and Reka, and she is an amazing woman, and they are the coolest couple ever. And so I am super excited. So yeah,
I like Ricky. We're trying to get him on here, but he doesn't. He's like, nah. Dude. He'd rather just sit and harass us in the Facebook messages or the comments.
Exactly. But dude, one of the best people in the industry, like just a super good dude. And so we're going to have fun with that. So me and the kids are going to go up there. And then we work Friday and Saturday, maybe Thursday also, until midnight. We get to be here until midnight at 8. And so I will probably hang out for a little while and then go and exit stage left and come back down here to work with the boys. So
Right. One more time, when does the 10K drag shootout air? And on what did we tell these guys?
It will be on horsepowerwars.com. And I don't know the exact date on the first episode, but it's in like a month. It's not very long.
That's not too far out.
And every episode, there's going to be 2 episodes a week, I believe is the way it's going to work. So Lyle and Biggin and I will get on the podcast, each week, and gladly go over what happened in the 2 episodes of the week. We're totally allowed to do that once they air, so we can tell you the scoop and tell you what really happened and what was behind the camera angle and those kinds of things. So it'll be fun.
Groovy.
All right. Yeah.
Anybody else got anything to add before we wrap it up for the night?
No, I ate 4 corn dogs
during the show.
4 corn dogs.
Yep.
That's what that sound was.
Wow.
Nice.
It's 109 degrees here too. I think Bill's the only one hotter. He was at 115 today.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat.
Oh yeah, it sucks.
It was nice here, man. It was like 81. That was unseasonably cool.
It was a hot heat here. That's the kind of heat it was, the hot heat kind.
Hey, you chose the high desert. All right.
Dude.
All right, you guys have a good night. I'm going to...
Yeah.
All right, you guys
115 here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Screw that.
Well, I appreciate you guys supporting us and everybody that's out there. Thank you so much. We're going to do a Facebook Live wrap-up tonight, obviously. I'm looking in the back. I can see the boys bolting stuff on. I believe we are about to set this thing, or as the rest of my team would say, fixing to set this thing on the ground because they are bolting the front wheels on it, and that makes me really, really happy. Yeah. This will be the first time it sat on the ground with the engine and trans in it and everything. So I'm getting mildly aroused, I must admit.
All right, man.
On that note, I'm out.
There's a picture we could have done without.
What a way to end the show.
I know.
All right, guys.
All right, love you guys.
I'll talk to you guys a little bit offline. Let me send the rest of the guys out here.
Bye.
All right, everybody. So thanks for listening to our new 1 hour format. We're probably going to do this a little bit more often. It's a little easier on everybody else, at least during busy season. You can follow Chad Reynolds or bangshift.com. I think he's going to keep probably the quickest updates he can release will be there as far as the Horsepower Wars 10K shootout. But sounds kind of cool. Anyway, what else? Class, 2 weekends. Man, I tell you what, we still have like four or five seats left for August 11th and 12th. It's in Milwaukee, but it's right like 5 minutes from the airport at a really nice shop, Endless Performance. Saturday and Sunday. I'm telling you what, man, you last couple of guys should check that out. It's going to be the RealTuners GM Factory ECU Gen 3 and Gen 4. So all you LS guys trying to tune with a factory ECU, James Short leads a 2-day class all on the chassis dyno. Pretty cool stuff. Anyway, so that's about it, man. I guess everybody else have a good week, and we will definitely be back online next Wednesday night. Thank you very much, and everybody take care. Have a good night.